Good afternoon. Welcome to Inside Indiana Sports Now with Kent Sterling. It's Wednesday, April 21st, 2021. We're brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Dr. Mike O'Neill is the best dentist I've ever gone to, the only dentist I've gone to the last 27 years. He's going to be the best you ever go to, too. Take control of your dental health. Do it today. Give him a call, 317-849-2933. Hit subscribe, hit like, ring the bell. Let's go. Let's talk about sports. And I want to talk about one kid in particular today where it comes to Indiana University basketball, because I got a comment today on YouTube saying that Khristian Lander should be discounted as a potential contributor to the Hoosiers this year because last year he helped build Assembly Hall brick by brick by brick. Barely clever and really inaccurate. What Khristian Lander did last year, and the reason that he wasn't a major contributor, is that he should have been a high school senior. You don't hustle through life. Khristian Lander, his parents, Archie Miller, all complicit in Khristian Lander's reclassing into the class of 2020. He shouldn't have done it. As you go through life, what you learn is to enjoy every sandwich. Warren Zevon said it a long time ago. Either you learn that or you don't. Don't hustle through different steps. You can't hustle your maturation as a human being, either emotionally or physically. So don't do it. Take your time. Take a deep breath. Enjoy your senior year. That's advice I would have given to Khristian Lander a year ago. Last year, he was too young. He was too unpolished. He was too immature to contribute to Indiana. But he can take a step forward this year in what would be his freshman year at Indiana University. Last year, Khristian Lander hit 12 of 44 three-pointers. That was good for 27.3%. Let's look at another kid who hit better than 42% last year. That's Armaan Franklin. As a freshman, what did Armaan Franklin do? Armaan Franklin hit 17 of 64 threes. That's good for 26.6%. Then he came back, like I said, last year he hit 42.4%. You can take steps in developing. He's not in suspended animation. He ain't going to be a 17, 18-year-old for his entire time at Indiana. Now he's playing for a guy in Mike Woodson and for assistant coaches like Dane Fife and Thad Matta, who's in an administrative role down in Bloomington, who are going to be able to help him take that next step. Don't discount the ability for these guys to develop, whether it's Khristian Lander, whether it's Jerome Hunter, any of those, Jordan Geronimo, for goodness sake, Anthony Leal. These guys are going to get better as basketball players, and Indiana, under Mike Woodson, are going to make sure that they do. So don't discount a kid like Khristian Lander because he made a mistake in reclassing. That's what you saw last year. You saw a high school senior trying to compete in the Big Ten. What in the world did you think was going to happen? Of course he's going to fail at that. He took a shot. It didn't pan out. Now you go back to the gym and you get to work. And that's the thing I love about the construct of the roster and the depth of this roster with 13 scholarship players, is that these guys are going to show up to work at Cook Hall, look around them, and say, I better get to work or I'm not going to play. You got 13 scholarship guys. You got 200 minutes per game, 200 available minutes. 5 guys times 40 minutes. That's 200. Basic math. That's okay. More Mo 14. If you took Mo 14 at Indiana, you get the concept of 200 minutes, 13 guys. That's less than 20 minutes a guy. Trace Jackson Davis is going to take 35 of those minutes. And what's going to happen also is that Mike Woodson, and we've heard this from Mike Woodson and from others, he is going to ratchet up the conditioning at Indiana University. So there are kids who are going to be able to go a little bit deeper into games. They're not going to play 28 minutes a game. Trace Jackson Davis might play 35, 37 minutes a game. So that hacks out a significant number of minutes, and the other 12 guys then are going to be fighting over 165 minutes. It's about, 13 minutes a guy. You have got to earn it now in conditioning, in shooting. For the love of God, make free throws. I'm so glad that they brought guys in who are good foul shooters. Kopp, 85% in his career at Northwestern. Stewart, kid who shoots about 75%. You got Johnson, who's about an 80% guy during his time at Pitt. You got to make foul shots. You got to hit open shots. You got to be able to rebound, and you're going to have to defend with energy every single possession because Mike Woodson will not tolerate it any other way. What does that mean? Does that mean Indiana's going to the Final Four? No, it does not mean that. What it means is they're going to be improved. How much? It depends on how much everybody else improves. This is a comparative game. This is about Indiana, yes, getting better, but they're going to have to get better faster than the other 13 teams in the Big Ten in order to make kind of inroads toward being more competitive in conference. And then going to the NCAA tournament and maybe making a run. Let's face it, when you get to the NCAA tournament, it's a new season. It restarts. You cannot project it's still April. The national championship game was played this month for the past season between Baylor and Gonzaga. We don't know what next year is going to bring, especially in the tournament. If you get into the dance and you finish in the top half of the Big Ten, that is a massive success for Indiana basketball. That will show that they have moved forward comparatively to their competition. And that's what it's all about. All right, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts. The draft 8 days away, the first round. I don't know whether the Colts are going to have a pick in the first round, but I think they're going to trade down from 21. We've gone over it a few times, but I'll restate it for you, and maybe in a different way. I think that they've got two giant holes on this roster, and this isn't me, just me saying they got to find a left tackle and an edge guy. It's everybody. I mean, you look at their roster, you say Kamoko Toure is going to be the guy you trust to go get after the quarterback and not put your cornerbacks in a position where they get exposed. Kamoko Toure, you hope for the best, you fear the worst. Came back, not 100% healthy last year, showed some flashes of good play. Why the Colts took him where they did a couple of years ago in the draft. They need an edge guy. They also need a left tackle. Sam Tevi is not their starting left tackle. You know that. Anthony Costanzo has retired. He's not coming back. So you need a left tackle, you need an edge guy. There are once you get past, all right, Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater, once you get past those guys, we're going to say that Vera Tucker is a guard. All right, we're also going to say that about Leatherwood from Alabama, also likely a guard. The left tackles, man, are they mixed up. You look at mock drafts from guys who know what they're talking about when they evaluate NFL projects and potential products for the National Football League. And who you got? You've got Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. You've got Sam Cosmi from Texas. You've got Walker Little from Stanford. You've got Radins from North Dakota State. You got a lot of guys. You got guys on top of that. You got Eichenberg from Notre Dame. You got a lot of guys. And they're all different shades of one another, and they all project to be starting left tackles in the National Football League. And they could all be available at 21. And if they are available at 21, why in the world would you take the guy on top of that pile instead of trade back and take the guy in the bottom of the pile? Right? Yes, right. Or do you take an edge guy at 21? Look, the edge guys are all flawed, and each has a differing level of dynamic athleticism plus polish to their pass rush game, their toolbox. You've got Jason Away from Penn State, who is a monster athletically, has all the traits of a dynamic pass rush guy. But last year, in 7 games for Penn State, while being disruptive, he put up no sacks. All right, Kwity Paye from Michigan. He's a guy, he was a captain. Colts like captains, but his productivity at Michigan did not match his athletic package. So you look at that. You look at Ojulari from Georgia. He is faster than hell. Really good off the edge, but he's kind of slender. He's about 235, 240 pounds. So can he be a guy you can have on the field to stop the run? You've got Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips was told by UCLA medical staff to retire from football. Not to lay off for a while, to retire from football because of concussions. You want to invest the 21st overall pick in a guy who in a year might have a concussion and have to retire from the game? I don't think that you do, no matter how good he looks on tape. How about Greg Russo out of Miami? He is really young in the game, right? A real young football player who is going to wind up maybe being really good. High ceiling for this guy. You've got Basham from Wake Forest, kind of the same deal. A guy who could be really good. So why would you choose, when you've got 7 of these guys and maybe more of these guys, why would you choose the guy at the top of that list instead of the 4th, 5th, or 7th guy on that list? Why wouldn't you trade back? And maybe by trading back, you can get picks with which you land a starting left tackle and a starting edge rusher. Why not do that? Sure, you're hoping that other teams don't screw you up, right, by plucking the guys that you're in love with. But it seems like the Colts always do a really, really nice job of putting together their draft board in a way that others maybe don't forecast exactly what the Colts are going to do, and they wind up getting exactly who they target. We'll see if Chris Ballard is good enough to get that done. JaKarr Sampson has been suspended for tonight's Pacers game against the Oklahoma City Thunder because he headbutted Patty Mills when the Spurs were in town. I wish there was more of that, and I wish there was less penalty phase stuff. He got kicked out of the game. All right? Why take away another game? I know you can't run around headbutting guys, but I don't mind a little violence in basketball, and I don't mind it in baseball. I get embarrassed when baseball has brawls where everybody runs out of the dugout and they kind of jostle around, then hug each other and go back to the dugout. What the hell are you doing? What is that? In basketball, I think that there needs to be a little kind of a pressure valve where you hit it and it deflates some of that pressure. I don't think it's 100% bad, and I think suspending a guy like JaKarr Sampson without pay for what he did is just a little bit over the top. I don't think you need to do that kind of stuff. Anyway, the Pacers -9 tonight. You got a lot of guys who could be sitting. You've got Miles Turner, who is out. Domas Sabonis, I guess, is out tonight. JaKarr Sampson is suspended. Goga Patadze's got an ankle. Where do you get bigs on this roster to go play? I know that Oklahoma City sucks, right? The Thunder have lost 14 of their last 15. But does anybody suck so badly that they can't cover +9, right, while facing a team that is their front line is completely depleted? And then you add to that, TJ Warren hadn't played all year. He's a guy who could slide over to the 4. Who's going to be a big who plays for the Pacers tonight? This is terrible. Terrible. I don't know what to do. Pacers -9. What do you do? The Indy 500 is going to be held 40% capacity. That means about 135,000-ish at the expansive facility at 16th and Georgetown, right? You got to wear face coverings. Does that mean everywhere? Does that mean you got to have a mask all the time? You know, we have gotten to a point in Indiana where 40% of the people in the state have been vaccinated. Why in the world, now I've been vaccinated, why in the world am I going to run around, let's say it's 85 degrees, kind of sweating your ass off at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? I got to wear a mask all the time? I don't understand. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And by the time we get to Memorial Day weekend, you could have 60 to 65% of the people in Indiana vaccinated. And we got to run around wearing masks outdoors at a place that giant. Do you know how big this place is? You could fit literally 13, and I don't say literally often, 13 Wrigley Fields inside the infield of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's how big this place is. And you got to wear a mask if you've been vaccinated? Who the hell is making these decisions? Tomorrow morning, Breakfast with Kent, 6 a.m., Facebook Live immediately thereafter on YouTube. Can't wait to talk to you then. Go Pacers.